Hey everybody, Chris Bond21 here, and welcome back to Let's Play Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. We are back on the main title screen because on the last episode we actually completed the game, or at least we completed Sora's part of the game. We managed to head up to the top of Castle Oblivion. We fought with Marluxia in a epic two-part boss fight, which was kind of, well, simplistic and easy and not really all that challenging than other things in the game that we dealt with earlier, but regardless, we beat the game, and in the end we ended up having to make a difficult choice, or rather the game had to make a choice for us, which was that Sora could choose to leave Castle Oblivion with the made-up memories that Naminé rearranged for him, meaning that he would remember everything that happened in the castle, all his time there, and what had gone down with the organization. However, Sora realized that living with all the messed up memories that weren't really his own, it wasn't really the right way to go with it, so he had to ask Naminé to put everything back the way it was, and that's going to take about a year of in-game time, and unfortunately it's going to have the unnecessary and very complicated side effect of making Sora forget everything that just happened in his section of the game. But now, here we are, getting ready, and the screen just faded away because I wasn't fast enough with the button press. We're now going to play the game as Riku. Now, this isn't just the palette swap, this isn't just Riku with Donald and Goofy. This isn't the same story, this isn't the same progression. Yes, you go to the same worlds, which I'll explain more how that works when we get into it, but this is a completely different campaign. This is a totally different story. This is Riku's adventure in the basement of Castle Oblivion, and he has his own little thing to deal with, and he has special organization members that he deals with. So, without any further ado, let's get started. So this is why at the beginning of the playthrough I had to cut past this screen, because yeah, the game now gives you the option to immediately start the game as Riku if you want. So we're going to do Riku, we're going to do Proud Mode, I'm going to put the vibration on, and we're going to get going. Also, I don't believe there is an intro here, the game just immediately picks up, so I'm probably going to have to shut up almost immediately after the loading screen. I don't believe we do a intro like we did with Sora. Let me just see if I'm right. It's been a while since I've played through this mode, but I'm pretty sure it just starts in a cutscene.
Where am I?
Stay asleep.
Who's there?
You should remain asleep. Here, between light and dark.
Between what? The king! Where's the king? Together we close the door to darkness. After that?
You came drifting here by yourself. You did not have the strength to overcome the darkness. Or maybe you were close to it.
As if I'm some kind of demon.
Turn from the light. Shut your eyes. Here, blanketed by the darkness, sleep is safety. Sleep is eternal. But
oh, what's this?
it is a door to the truth. Take it and your sleep ends as you take the first step toward the truth. But know this, the truth will bring you pain. Will you still go? There is no return to the security of sleep.
This seemed like a boring place to take a nap anyway.
That was very well said, Riku.
Huh? A door to the truth, huh?
So we obtain the card Hollow Bastion. We get I think we get the cards in a bit of a different order. So we're going to go through the same worlds, even though it doesn't quite make sense how that works. Also, yeah, as you see in the corner, we're in the basement. We're on basement 12. So this is before Sora has arrived on the upper level. So yeah, this is the real Riku. This isn't the Riku replica. This isn't Vexen's thing. This is the real Riku of what happened to him after the end of Kingdom Hearts 1. So he kind of got stuck in limbo. It's a little complicated to explain the full extent of what happened. But basically, Sora and Riku and everybody, when they closed the door to Kingdom Hearts at the end of the first game, they basically were in sort of an in-between world that wasn't really in the realm of light or in the realm of darkness. So Sora and friends have kind of drifted into this, I guess purgatory would be appropriate. Sora and Donald and Goofy wound up here near Castle Oblivion because this castle exists sort of on the border of light and dark, and that's how they all got here, basically. It's not really fully explained, but that's kind of the deal. So we're going to just go in here. How this is going to work going forward now with this, I'll explain more when we get to the end of this. This is sort of just Riku's tutorial-based section, similar to what we did with Traverse Town. So I'll explain more about how we're going to proceed with this as we go through and towards the end, so we don't have to waste any time. So let's pick Hollow Bastion and see what's going on. Also, once again, there won't be a whole lot to do in these worlds, as you'll see in a quick second. And of course, as we saw in Sora's campaign, there is no voice acting here in the Disney worlds, or in the worlds in general. This is Hollow Bastion. What you see is not real. It is the world of your memory. My memory? The things you remember from your time at Maleficent's castle became a card, and that card made this world. You've seen everything here before, haven't you? Yeah. So what now? Am I going to learn something? Maybe meet someone? You would meet the people in your memories. Ordinarily. What does that mean? Hey, I'm asking you a question. It was very Italian right there. He said, I'm asking you a question. Fine. But it better be you I run across next, voice. Yeah, so the voice kind of hinted at what the big difference here and why this playthrough is going to be a little bit shorter. We got Key to Beginnings. And why this probably is going to be a little bit different how we're going to organize the episodes after this one. So this is going to be the whole 12th floor. We're going to just do this all in one episode like we've been doing. But after that, we're going to have to do some jumbled up worlds, because you'll see in a second as I explain this. I'm going to show up the map. I think I might be able to illustrate my point a little better here. So yeah, I'm going to open up the map, and we got Key to Beginning. So I think this is the only world, I think, where you're going to have the three, where you're going to have Key to Beginnings, Key to Guidance, and Key to the Truth. But you'll notice something as we go through this. Also, you'll notice here that we don't have a deck equipped in the corner, and we only have one space for a friend's card, which is kind of weird because we had the three. So this is the deck, and Riku cannot customize his card deck. He must fight with the provided deck. The cards in the deck will change as you advance through the game. So this is what kind of makes the game a little bit more challenging and a little bit more easier. Unlike with Sora, where we had to constantly go and add cards and move cards around and use card power and everything, you don't have to do that with Riku. Riku is given sort of a pre-selective deck. As you go through each world, the game gives you different things. So you're kind of at the mercy, literally this time, of the cards, almost completely. Not so much the random drops. It makes Riku's campaign a little bit easier, but also a little bit harder, because there are some caveats to the system. Because, for example, you'll notice that all Riku has is attack cards. He also has enemy cards, and that's the thing about Riku. Riku doesn't have to use card power. If you notice that Defender doesn't have any CP, it's blank. So Riku gets all of the enemy cards. So it's a nice way in this mode to try all the enemy cards that I didn't really put on as Sora, because they require a lot of CP, and honestly, they just do a couple of cool little mini effects. But you'll be able to do a lot of that as Riku. And I think that's all I'm going to explain for now in terms of what Riku can do. But let's enter a fight real quick before I go on, because I'm going to need map cards. And unfortunately, we didn't have too much of a big intro thing with Riku's story, so we're just going to have to probably fight along. So yeah, Riku can still play the same way as Sora with the cards, but again, you can't change the deck, you can't reorganize the deck. it's stuck the way it is. And this, again, like I said, has its fair share of good caveats and its fair share of bad caveats, which is that, like how I structured my deck with Sora, I was able to structure a deck that allowed me to keep all my high-level cards first, and then I was able to throw in some zeros and whatnot. However, now I'm kind of at the mercy of whatever the game gave me. So if the game doesn't give you a lot of zero cards, or the game doesn't give you a whole lot of high-level cards, you might find yourself struggling a little bit. Also, the great thing about Riku's playthrough is, if you noticed, this is the card counter that you did with Sora. Riku doesn't have to worry about reloading cards, and Riku can move when he hits that button, so no more standing still and taking a crap ton of hits. So Riku's mode does have its advantages to Sora's mode. Obviously, it's a second playthrough in a way, so it's supposed to technically be a little bit easier, I guess, from a certain perspective, which I understand. Also, Riku has different things. So right now we can't do the third one because we haven't hit the tutorial point where we can raise the darkness power, but we can raise the AP and we can raise Riku's health. Now, AP, I believe, allows you to do... I always forget how this works. The darkness boost allows us to enter a sort of rage mode where we can turn into like Dark Riku when we can, like when he's wearing the hula skirt, and we can do all the cool fancy moves he did at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1. I think the attack boost just raises my attack power. I'm not entirely sure what this does. I gotta look into it exactly because I don't know if the game explains it. Maybe there's something in the settings. No, the D report's not gonna have it. That's his version of the journal. Settings. No, status? Maybe I can see something. Attack. It's attack point, so maybe it is like sort of a strength-based thing. I'll look it up. If anything, I'll put something on the screen of what attack points is right now so we know what it is, because I actually don't remember off the top of my head, and since I've only really played through Riku's side of this adventure once in a while, I don't really know exactly what it does. But I know the darkness power thing allows you to sort of enter the rage mode, where you can enter and do all the cool magic spells, which I can't do right now because the game hasn't let me do it. Also, we're going to level up a load here because these guys give a lot of experience, and we're also low leveled, and right now we're kind of just fighting off some fights here just to get some map cards because we have none. That's the thing I wish the game had fixed, like we could do the random map cards, but I feel like Riku's battles are a lot easier. I feel like he plays a lot faster, or he just... I don't know, he just has a different thing. Also, we leveled up again, and I can't do attack. See, I think it might be attack. I'm sure future Chris has already put something up on the screen about what it is. But yeah, we'll raise up my health and do level 3 because we are gonna have boss fights as we did in Sora's campaign. I think I'll clear out this room with all the Heartless so we can get a couple of map cards, and probably at the end of this episode I will do what I did at the beginning with Sora. I'll go back and I'll try to do map cards. Also, I learned a very valuable lesson playing through Sora's mode. I will be trying to fight Heartless off screen a lot more. I won't just keep running into the next room because I feel like that is what screwed me over a lot of times. I know I was very blunt at how I disliked the game and how I felt it was cheap. But don't get me wrong, I completely made it clear that I agree that I messed up. I should have gone slow. I should have gone through each room. I should have done all that stuff. I shouldn't have just plowed through each door, and I should have gone and done everything. I mean, there's no guarantee that I would have, and we get to raise health again. That was fast. There's no guarantee I would have gotten those cards, but the odds were probably ever more in my favor that I could have gotten those cards if I hadn't and just ran through. So, I now learned my lesson. I'll show you guys that. So yeah, the Defender card, this protects me, makes them take less damage. So yeah, you just do what we did with like the Vexen card. You play it, and it gives you like a little status boost where you can get like one reload. So once I get through this whole turn of the deck, I'll lose the protection. So that's how they kind of limit it. You can't just spam the card. So yeah, I lost it. Now it's over. That's how they kind of limit you from like spamming the better cards that like protect you or re-give you health. Like the Oogie Boogie card with the health upgrade of the health regeneration. It only does it for a little bit and then it disappears. You can't constantly do it. And I believe we should get another card. Cool. There's probably only a couple more Heartless left in this room. So yeah, this was really cool when I first found this out. So this was actually hinted at in the pages of the GBA manual, which I still have. I still have the original box for Chain of Memories from the GBA, which is probably the only Game Boy Advance game I still have the box for. I've thrown out all the other boxes, but I kept Kingdom Hearts' box because it was Kingdom Hearts, so obviously, of course, I kept it because huge fan. Wasn't going to throw that out. But yeah, inside the pages, there was mention of a second mode, a second playthrough that you'd get upon beating Sora's story. And they even showed footage. They had a little screenshot next to it, and it said, oh, there's another playthrough. And they actually showed Riku. They just covered him with like a sensor bar. It was like a black little oval that covered Riku's character model in the sprites. And it was kind of cool. I mean, you could kind of tell it was Riku because I think his sword, the soul edge, was slightly sticking out of the corner of the oval. So if you really like stared at it, you could see it. So you might have known it was coming, but this was kind of a cool thing. You know, I'm going to raise the attack power because it seems like that's something we might need to keep raising. So that was kind of cool that they did this. And this is the first time we're playing already. This is only game 2 in the series, and we're already playing as another playable character. This is unfortunately the only time in the series that Riku is... Oh, this is the only time at this point in the series that Riku is playable. He is playable in another game much, much later on down the road. And hopefully he'll be playable in Kingdom Hearts 3. Maybe there's been some rumors about multiple playable characters popping up in Kingdom Hearts 3. So hopefully Riku's going to be playable. I would really hope he is. Actually, I really hope Sora, Riku, and Kairi are all playable because I would love to play the 3 of them. It's sort of... It would make sense because we had another game in the series where we had 3 playable protagonists and it was 2 guys and a girl. So I think it's only fair that we get to play the original 3 characters that we met way back in the day. I think it would be really cool. I think that might be it for all the Heartless in this room. I'm just going to check real fast. I don't really see anything popping up. Let's see, go over here. Anything in the corner? Sometimes if you go back and forth a couple times, sometimes they'll respawn. Nope, so they're not respawning. So let's just continue through the next room. I'll do one fight in the next room, and then I'll proceed on. Don't worry, I'll go back. I promise I will go back, and I will fight the Heartless, all the Heartless that are here in Hollow Bastion. I will get every single map card that I can obtain. I promise. I will not complain about the unfairness of the map cards. I swear, everybody, okay? Alright, so let's fight one... Oh, well, the defender seems to want to go, so let's fight the defender. So yeah, this was so cool having a second playthrough, and then again, even on the GBA, this was kind of cool to, you know, have a second campaign. I mean, games rarely do that, where it's like, oh, you beat the game. Usually role-playing games tend to do the thing where they're like, oh, you beat the game, well, here's New Game Plus. Take all your experience and try a harder setting, and that's a cool little reward for playing the game again. But this is kind of cool, because this isn't just like a simple palette swap. This isn't just you playing as Riku over Sora's levels. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we're in the same levels and whatnot, but the story is different, and different things happen. So this is kind of important. Also, again, so much for you don't need to play Chain of Memories to understand what's happening, because, again, if you didn't play Chain of Memories and you didn't play this particular story, you wouldn't know, like, what happened to Riku. Like, you wouldn't have any idea what he was doing between games, and we've got to go this way. And the defender got me in the end. That's why it was very confusing when they were talking to the developers and talking about back in the day, oh, how is this going to happen? But now here's what I'm talking about. We're starting to notice it now because I'm kind of getting hit and I haven't leveled up as fast anymore. So you're probably wondering, how do you heal? And that's the thing. There's only one way to heal Riku, and at this point in the game, it's very restrictive because we haven't got the thing that we need that allows us to heal. Riku doesn't have magic cards, so there's never going to be a cure spell card anywhere in this game. It's a friend card that helps him heal, and we don't have access to that yet. So the only way to heal is either to raise your HP between the level up screen. You'll see now I got it, which is why it's probably a good thing we're doing all the leveling up with my health. And well, I'm probably going to definitely go back and do this again. Let's see if I can do something closer to... I guess 5 it is. I would have rather gone to something closer to 3. But yeah, Riku can't heal, and this is just... it's annoying, only in certain spots. There probably will come a time where I'm going to need to heal, and the card won't present itself, and I'm going to kind of be... I'll have my hands tied, sort of. It's going to be annoying, but we'll try to get through it as best we can. And I just got hit by that, and I'm going to try to jump down here. There it is. This should be key to beginnings. Again, I think... Don't quote me on this. I'm sure I'm wrong, but... I'm going to try... I don't want to use the Z. Oh, God, those are 2 really good cards. Oh, I guess I accidentally hit the X button. I think, again, don't quote me, that this is the only level in Riku's campaign that has the 3 key to beginnings and key to guidance. I could be wrong. And we'll find out next time. Everything is just how I remember it. Even this room. It must be nice being back in your old bedroom. Think of all the memories. You again. Sorry, but these memories I could do without. Maleficent gave me this room. And she did. And you lived here, tempted by the darkness she offered. You cast away your home, your friends, everything, but at least they gave you a nice room. Stop talking. Yeah, so I think this room, because they're just using, and this key to guidance, and they're just using like room model and things from the first Kingdom Hearts. I think that's the room where we got one of the final books during the library puzzle. I think they just added a bed in there, because we never saw Riku in a room at any point in Kingdom Hearts 1, and that wasn't even like, even Final Mix didn't have like a a cutscene where we saw Riku in a bedroom. So I don't necessarily know if that was just a retcon or that was just something maybe they wanted to do and they didn't have the time to put it in. A little weird. Also, there's a lot of room in this for the first level. I remember Travis being a lot smaller than this. Also, I believe there's only 12 floors, so you might have noticed that with Sora we had 13. It was all the world maps and Castle Oblivion. I don't think we go to the 100 Acre Wood as Riku, so there's no mini games in Riku's side of the story, which I guess understandable. And I used the 9 card, damn it. Oh, but I have a 9 card there. So yeah, we won't be playing any mini games in Riku's chapter, which means this playthrough will be a little bit easier. But yeah, we'll explain more when we get to the tail end of the episode how we're going to progress forward with all this. And I think we should be getting closer to the next room. There's a lot of rooms in here, despite this being the first, like, map. Yeah, I think it's across from us. Yeah, this is the key to guidance. Then we're going to go up one. And, you know, I'm going to fight 2 more Heartless just to get a couple map cards. So it's always a struggle at the beginning because you kind of have to fight because you have no map cards. The game isn't even, like, sort of lenient and gives you something. Also, I like Riku's dodge roll move. He does, like, this little flip. He does that cool little, like, move he did from the first game where he, like, hit me with his feet when I knocked him down on Destiny Islands. It's kind of a cool little thing that you get to use that now. But yeah, this is kind of a cool thing, getting a second playthrough and experiencing difference. And that's the other cool thing. They didn't even just copy the same mechanics. It's not like we're having to do another, like, oh, we have to do the same thing with the card power deck again. We have to learn slates the same way. No, it's a completely different play style. So that's pretty cool, I think. You know, they were able to sort of put that all together, and on the GBA, no doubt. I mean, you might think that this was just a bonus for the remake. No, this was on the GBA. You got to play as Riku, which was pretty cool that they were able to put that all in there. You'd think that, you know, it's a GBA game, it was a handheld, you know, any other developer nowadays would either, you know, not even take the effort to do that, or hell, they would probably charge you like $12 to play as Riku, or you'd probably have to pre-order or something to play as Riku. And, you know, this was kind of a really cool, like, little surprise if you didn't know it was coming. And that's why I tried my best to keep it a secret. I know some people might have been a little confused when I was saying, like, oh, the game's almost over, oh, we're almost done, and I'm sure a few people were probably like, wait a minute, I mean, I don't know yet because I haven't posted every video yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's a couple of comments that people are saying, like, you do realize you still got to play as Riku. And I hope no one did that because you might spoil the people that haven't played. I'm trying to do it in, I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying not to spoil all the secrets and the surprises that I could be spoiling, because maybe you haven't played. I know there are a few people watching the playthrough, friends of mine that I know never played Kingdom Hearts, but they're interested in Kingdom Hearts and they've never seen any of it, and they like what they're seeing, so I don't want to spoil it for them. No one here either. There's nothing but Heartless in this castle. Voice! I know you're watching, so explain this. Where are the people from my memories? Do you want to see them? Of course I do. But you cast them aside. What? You dreamt of the outside world, and you passed through the door to darkness. Behind you, you left family, friends, home, everything, all in pursuit of darkness. But I cast that aside too. And what do you have to show for it? First your home, then the dark. Your heart only knows how to cast away. It's empty, like that room. Like your memories. That's why you don't meet anyone. Your heart is hollow, except for the residual darkness. You're wrong, I rejected the darkness. Did you really now? So yes, this is why Riku doesn't encounter anyone, or at least he doesn't encounter his friends, as we're going to see when we get into the key to the truth. We'll see exactly what Riku can encounter in his memories. So yeah, that's the reason why. Because technically Riku is still kind of, I don't want to say broken, but he's definitely damaged a little bit from what happened at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1. So he, if you remember, he gave away, well, he unintentionally got suckered into Ansem's plan and ended up becoming his sort of, I don't want to say vessel, but was possessed by him. And then, basically, during all the stuff with Sora, where he, you know, kind of went crazy and attacked him once Ansem took over his body, yeah, Riku tried to fight back, but unfortunately, as you remember from the end of the first game, it wasn't enough, and I just gonna use a zero. I can't use a zero because it has to be higher. Damn, I'm gonna have to go fight something real quick. So yeah, Riku kind of lost himself a little bit. So his body, I think, was saved, and that's why he's still around. He's not a Heartless, but his heart is completely broken at this point. Like, it's still in a state of flux, and that's really what all of Riku's campaign here in Castle Oblivion is about. It's about him dealing with sort of the residual darkness that still is in his heart. And I like that they kind of follow up on this, because if, you know, any other series probably would have just written it off as, oh, Riku's fine, nothing happened, you saved him, and friendship and the power of love, you know, fixed him, and he's all good. But no, that's why Riku's a really cool character, and I like him. I tend to like Riku a lot more than Sora as the games progress, because Sora's kind of very, I hate to say it, but Sora is sort of very one-noted. He's very generic in that he's a nice guy. You know, he's the hero. He's supposed to be nice. Wow, that's lucky. I get the one first 5 cut. That's amazing. Sora's the, you know, the main. I'm gonna find something else so I can keep talking about my point here. But yeah, so Sora's like the nice guy. You know, he's never gonna do anything wrong. At least he never gets really tempted by doing anything bad. You know, he's a general straight arrow, and that's okay. You know, it's a video game. It's easy to relate to a protagonist that's sort of, you know, a good guy, because, you know, when you're playing as sort of an anti-hero or a bad guy, that's not so much as you're relating to him as it's like you're using that character as an extension to, like, give in your inner inhibition. So, like, when you play a game like, I'm trying to think here, let's think of something, let me think of something off the top of my head. So, like, when you play a game like Devil May Cry, and you play as Dante, like, you may not be able to relate to Dante because, you know, he's, like, a demon, and he fights demons for a living, and he owns a pizzeria shop, but it's like, you might not be able to relate to that, but, you know, you're just using it to, like, go crazy and unleash combos and everything. Kratos from God of War is another good example of that. You hopefully haven't murdered your wife and child in servitude to a Greek god, but you're using Kratos as like an extension to unleash, like, you know, your rage, like your feelings and everything, and he's an outlet. But like Sora is kind of just like an easy relatable character. Riku is interesting because he's actually got some struggles. He really does evolve in each game, and that's what I really like about his character. And he's not like mopey about it. He's kind of very on the level. Sometimes the writing is a little on the nose with that, I will admit, but for the most part, I think they do a pretty good job of stressing how important that is. So yeah, he doesn't meet his friends, but look who's here. I knew you would return, Riku. Maleficent, you're alive? You haven't been paying attention. I am but a figment of your memory. Of all the people I could run into, it had to be you. But of course, after all, your heart is seeped in darkness. You can only see those who exist in that same darkness. No. Be grateful you have someone to keep you company. Your heart is empty. Were it not for the darkness it contains, you would be completely alone. That's sounding pretty good right now. Come now, you once turned to me to state your hunger for darkness. You want me here. Who but I can grant you... I was doing so good with that last time. Who but I can grant you the darkness you long for? There was a time where I did want you around. I surrendered my heart to the dark. But never again. You and your darkness have nothing to offer. All I did was lose myself. Empty myself. I'm finished with all that. If I'm stuck seeing people like you, people of the dark, I'll take you out one by one. Then you mustn't forget to destroy yourself last. For like me, you are one of the dark. That's fine with me. I turned to darkness because my heart was weak. I hate that weakness. It's like I'm my own enemy. And seeing people like you embrace the darkness just makes it worse. Enough talk, Maleficent. So you hate the darkness enough to fight it. Oh, the agony you must feel. Then let me end your pain, Riku. End it forever. With the wondrous power of darkness. So yeah, this is kind of what will happen in the later levels. Riku will enter a world, there isn't going to be a key to beginnings, and there isn't going to be a key to guidance. Riku's just going to get the key to the truth, because the only thing he can see are the bosses, because they're all in darkness, so that's of course the only people that Riku can interact with. So this is why Riku's campaign is a little shorter, and while my playthrough is going to have to be a little bit more organized differently than it was for, say, Sora's campaign. So with Sora, we did one world a video, we did one floor video. We're not going to really do that with Riku. Again, I'll explain more once we get to the end and we get the world map cards and we see a little bit more of what happened in the plot. So yeah, this, you might be thinking, oh boy, Maleficent was like one of the harder fights in Sora's campaign. Well, the difficulty levels have kind of changed a little bit. Not all the bosses are that difficult, and I'm just throwing a bunch of cards at the roll. I don't know if I haven't even tried this. Yeah, you can still stock cards. I think they do. I don't know. I can't tell. Did they disappear? I'm not 100% if they disappear. They might not. So I'm going to keep using the 0 card. Riku has a better jump, too. Actually, I don't know if that is Riku's high jump, because we've never played as Riku without it. So let me just see something real quick when we reload the deck. I want to see something. So, yeah, we get 11 cards. I'm pretty sure stocking the cards still does the same thing where it's unfortunately going to make us lose cards. But I want to make sure. I'm not 100% on that. I want to... Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Oh, but a lot of flame. A lot of flame. I'm not going to be able to dodge that. Yeah, I guess it doesn't do all of them because I stocked at least a few cards there, and I don't necessarily know if it. I think it still took them away. I think it did. Maybe it just didn't look at it clear enough, but I'm pretty sure it did. So yeah, this is the annoying part here in the early sections. While this is sort of still tutorial land, you could still die if you're not careful, because again, you can't heal right now. So the first level is kind of a bit of a nail biter if you don't really over level. That's why if you wanna, I recommend staying here a little bit. I just sort of blew through this because I want to try to get this under 40 minutes because we have a little bit more to explain here. I should level up. I knew it. I'm gonna probably level up attack points, and once again, we'll still get the attack cards. Now, the great thing, like I said, is we're gonna be able to put those right into the deck, and we're gonna be able to use them because Riku doesn't have a limit on CP. So, yep, I got no choice. I gotta raise up my health. And so yeah, that's how Riku's playthrough works. You just go in, and that's it. There's no cutscene after you beat the boss. The annoying thing about Riku's playthrough is, unlike with Sora, where we were able to immediately go to Conqueror's Respite, and we were able to sort of leave, unfortunately, in Riku's campaign, you have to make your way to the final door yourself, which means you gotta go through a couple more world cards, most likely. And I think this should be it. Might be. Yeah, and there it is. You're usually just going to be one room off, so maybe you got to use like one card or two. I think the door was open because I was in the room, but in the future going forward, it might not be like that. So let's head up, and I believe we're going to have a boss fight in the next room, because what's an episode without a boss fight? Also, you can't find cards anymore in the items. All you're going to get is HP orbs. There's not even Moogle points, because I don't think Riku can do the Moogle shops.
Why do you shun the darkness?
Come on, I know you heard me. Every word I said to Maleficent.
Darkness is your weapon. It is time you learned you must accept it. Stop resisting. Accept the darkness. You have no choice. If you are to serve me again.
I thought it was you, Ansem.
Oh, you don't seem surprised.
All you have been talking about is the darkness. I can only assume you want to pull me back in, so you can play Puppet Master.
Clever boy. I knew you'd be the one to most appropriately serve me. And now, surrender to me again.
You're crazy! Not a chance!
Did you really think you could do me harm? A weakling like you couldn't even defeat Sora, and you had darkness on your side.
Oh, excuse me for being weak.
You are weak. You need darkness. Surrender. Bow to darkness. Bow to me.
That's not gonna happen!
Only the darkness can offer to you all of the strength that you will need.
You're wrong!
That voice. Your Majesty?
That's right! Remember, Riku, you're not alone! Listen close. The light'll never give up on you. You'll always find it, even in the deepest darkness.
I got it. I won't lose to darkness. Not today.
You think that feeble little light can save you from the darkness that I command?
Yeah, it turns out that that voice we've been hearing is Ansem, and you might not have been able to piece that together because the voice was different. So yeah, Ansem's no longer voiced by Billy Zane. He is now voiced by Richard Epcar, and that was a switch that was made in Kingdom Hearts 2, and of course he's just reprising his role here in Rechain of Memories. So real quick before we get started, I want to clear things up for some people that might be a little confused. Ansem is dead. He's gone. We killed him. This isn't really Ansem. This is more or less a... How do I explain this? Riku's heart, like I said, is broken, and it's still kind of messed up because of what Ansem did to him. So, technically, this isn't so much Ansem as it's a manifestation of the darkness still residing in Riku's heart, taking on the form of Ansem. So, in case it's a little confusing, it does get explained a little bit better later on, but for those that maybe are watching and maybe are a little bit confused as to how Ansem is here now and we're not freaking out over it, Ansem dead, this is just a manifestation of the darkness in the form of Ansem, okay? So, moving on. You shall feel the darkness everywhere. So yeah, this is still sort of tutorial land. Give me all you've got. I'll give it right back. So yeah, I think Riku has a different concept to Sora that I don't know if they're going to show now. So we still have the card breaks. Card breaking now helps. Rapid break. Quickly break the opponent's card for a boost in attack. So this time around, I think you get points when you break the cards. Not giving up yet? I wonder how much of this you can take. I'm just going along until you give up. So the same value as the opponent and press triangle. So yeah, this is a new thing. So when you both play the same card, which I thought he was going to do. Yeah, if you both play and I got a little too fast there. Let me see, 7. This is awkward because the deck is not in order. My OCD's flipping out. Yeah, you can duel. Break all of your opponent's cards. So now you got to go and you got to try to find the exact cards. And this is always a pain in the ass because the deck is never in friggin' order. And I hate it, so you gotta... that's why I like the way when I play, because I know that my deck is always going to be, you know, in the highest to lowest cards. So, you basically just have to keep mashing the X, and then you'll be able to do a little move. So there's Impulse. So that's how you can perform some of the slate. So the duel system, if you show the same card as the opponent, press triangle, you can break all the cards to execute a slate. But you'll need more than 8 cards. Otherwise, you can't do it. Because some of them later you need to really, really go for.
What? That all you got?
It seems to me that you are intent on resisting the darkness. All right, then see it for yourself.
Huh?
This is a card crafted from your memory. Advance through the world it creates, and soon you will understand. Chasing after light is not the way. It will not give you distance from the darkness. There is no running from the darkness.
Don't worry, I'm not running. Give it. I'll enter the world, and in the end, if I haven't given in to the darkness, then I win.
I have one more gift for you.
What'd you do?
I simply tempered the darkness that yet remains in your heart.
You still think that I'd rely on darkness?
To use it or not is your choice. I'll be waiting, Riku, for you to sense it and yield to the darkness in your heart.
So we learned D mode. So this is the dark mode. So it can be activated when you've accumulated the maximum amount of darkness points through card break. So the more times you card break an enemy, that number is going to go up. And then once you hit it, you'll enter, and you'll be able to use all of the cool darkness powers that you got, or that Riku used in the first Kingdom Hearts. It's lost whenever your cards are broken or when you hit damage. So that's kind of how they activate it. So that's it, I think. And we got all the map cards, and it's the usual ones. Travis Town. And I think we're missing one just because Hollow Bastion took the spot of, I think, Halloween Town, I think. So yeah, this is pretty much what happens. You just run through the floor. There aren't really going to be cutscenes. We're going to call it quits here because we are hitting about 40 minutes. I feel like this is a good spot to do. So this is what's going to happen. How we're going to progress through this castle. We are going to do, I think, because we only have 4 map cards, this was actually pretty good. We're going to do these 2 worlds next episode. We're going to do Agrabah, or we're going to do, actually, we'll go in order. I know the game wants us to go this way, but we'll go again in chronological. Actually, we could go. Can we go backwards? Can we go? You know, let's go backwards. Let's do backwards because we are going to the first floor and we went in the order with Sora the right way. So let's go Hollow Bastion, Neverland, Monstro, Agrabah, Traverse Town. Let's do it that way, even though technically these aren't the most chronologically connected worlds. We'll go that. We'll go backwards, and we'll do Neverland, and we'll do Monstro in the next episode, and then we'll do Agrabah and Traverse Town in the episode after that. So this is going to be a little fast because, again, this is just going to be me entering the world, heading towards the door with the key to the truth, fighting the boss, and then moving on. The only times we're going to actually get a cutscene is in the hallways. There's not even going to be a whole lot of talking in the worlds this time, so there's no Disney characters to talk to. There's nothing. Riku doesn't meet anybody, so it's going to be a lot faster. So I've already timed it. Most of my episodes were about 30 minutes, and that was with 3 rooms of cutscenes, which were about maybe 5 to 7 minutes per cutscene altogether, give or take, with me talking and everything. So cutting all that down, we're talking maybe about a 20-minute episode without the fights and anything. So hopefully that should be a little easier. There are fights and things to deal with in between the floors, and I can't honestly remember when they happen because, again, I haven't played this one all that much, so it's not as clear as day in my head. But we'll have fun dealing with that together. So I'm going to go double back and go back into Hollow Bastion and go fight every single Heartless I made in that room. I'm going to level up a hell of a lot and get a bunch of map cards so I don't have to cry to myself later on. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you on the next part.